This is my first 1911 or 2011, whatever you want to call it. This is my first one that I have owned and almost my first one that I've ever shot. You know, I've always been Team Glock. I got my first CZ, but I've still been carrying Glock, still been shooting Glock for my matches. So let's see how this feels. What's all the hype about? Let's go ahead and give it a try. Glock. What the hell is a Glock? Is that plastic bullshit? 3 different reasons. 45 ACP, 2 World Wars, and Jesus. Bow, what's up guys? Today we're looking at the best 2011 that I've ever got to shoot for the money, but there's a catch, so stay to the end of the video to see what it is. Subscribe if you like big, voluptuous, juicy booty. And if you subscribe because you like big, voluptuous, juicy booty, then make sure you leave a comment if you want one of these brand new Mac 9 DS's. DS, I'm assuming, stands for the double stack 1911 because it is a 2011 double stack 1911. You know, it kind of all means the same thing. Today, we're going to shoot a couple hundred rounds through this gun and do a full review on how it's been so far and kind of give you guys some thoughts and opinions on everything and how it's been performing. But first, let's thank the sponsors. The sponsor of today, of course, is Mac. They sent me out some swag as well. I look sexy. I know you don't have to tell me, but Mac and TSYS/SDA Imports are the sponsor of the channel, and huge shout out to them. They did send me this gun, but it's still going to be an unbiased review and my unbiased opinions. I will be honest with you guys. And then last but not least, the next sponsor is going to be Windrock Shooting Range. Windrock Shooting Range is a range up here in Oliver Springs, Tennessee. That's where we're at right now. We could not do this video without them, literally. So if you guys are in the area or want to give it a check out, please come to the range and support them. So the Mac 9 DS, of course, is a 1911 platform double stack, aka 2011, and it has a crazy MSRP price of just over $1,000, which if you take a look at similar guns in the same price range, they're pretty much all dog shit. And this one, it seems to be different. Starting with the slide, it is a carbon steel forged slide. It has serrations on the front and back, which they're not as aggressive as I would like them to be, but they still get the job done. It does come cut for a red dot. The regular slide, of course, doesn't have all this stuff that you see on top of it. It has a plate that you just undo 2 screws, pop it off, which actually was kind of difficult to get off. You just had to give it a little lub tap underneath the beaver tail. And then it has a plate with backup arm or backup blacked out dovetail rear sight that would be a co-witness if the dot was a little bit smaller, and it just screws down into place. They recommend anywhere from, I think, 10.5 to 11.9 pounds is your kind of minimum and maximum whenever it comes to torque. And right now I have my Gideon Omega optic on it, which I have done a full review on this if you want to go check it out on the channel. It's a great optic, especially for the money. So it screws down, you just throw some blue Loctite on there, and then it fits. I love the way that this RMR plate fits on it. Not only can you get a coat witness on most of your red dots, I could still use this coat witness if I wanted to, but also just the firmness and the snugness of it. Like, I'm used to Glock and how their MOS plates are, and to this, they're nothing. I mean, this thing, it fit in tight. I know that I'm not going to have any problems with this, and so far I have not. So very excited to see how that performs. While we're still talking about the slide, it does have a green fiber optic front sight, which it does come with an extra green fiber optic in the bag in case you had any problems with this or wanted to switch it out, whatever the case may be. It does come with the extra one. For a lot of you competition shooters, you know, they're just going to take this off anyways, but it does come with that bright green fiber optic, which has been performing great so far, even though I haven't shot this gun too much at all with the iron sight. Coming down from the slides, you do have a forged carbon steel frame, which looks and feels good. And that frame also does have a full-size M13 Picatinny rail with their logo right above it, which I think is a nice touch. And this is a 2011 platform, so it does, of course, have the grip safety or the lemon squeeze, whichever one you want to call it, which doesn't dig into your hand. I think it feels pretty good, and I am enjoying it so far, even though, of course, I'm not used to guns that do that. And then it has a safety right up top whenever this gun is in with the hammer cocked back, of course, because this is a single action only gun. You can hear that safety. Very tactile clicking sound. It's firm and nice. It feels like it goes into place really well and that it's not just going to slip off. So I really am enjoying the safety, even though, like I said, I'm not used to any type of safety. So this is definitely something different for me, but it feels good and it works good so far. So I really do like it. coming to the bottom, we do have a mag well. It's an aluminum mag well that is removable from the frame. If you wanted to take it off for something like USPSA and you don't want to run limited optics, you can run carry optics with this thing and take that off if you want to. And it works pretty well. It just has these finger grooves right here if you wanted to rip, if you needed to rip your mag out, which people feel kind of how they want to feel about that, right? So you can rip it out if you need to, so your tactical guys are into that, but then really the purpose of the mag well in terms of being able to reload faster, it is just 2 more notches for your mag to be able to get caught up on. So it's kind of how you feel depending, but it's just there. And you know, I haven't had any issues with it getting caught up yet, so I don't feel any type of way about them. But the mag well itself is nice, especially because it's removable. And you know, it would be different if it was pinned and welded. I probably wouldn't like that. And since we're speaking of the mag well, the mags, it takes the regular STI Stacatto mags, or of course their own Military Armament Corporation mags. They of course make their own, so it can use either one. So your mags are readily available. I won't say inexpensive, because of course, you know, 2011 mags can get pretty expensive comparatively, but you know, they're good quality mags. I haven't had any issues with them so far. And of course the Stacatto mags kind of speak for themselves. Everybody knows how they are. You know, if not, I guess just go look it up. You know, everybody's kind of heard their problems with it, and it is what it is. That's just the mags that you're going to have in the 2011 platform, but they're at least readily available, and you know what you're going to get and what they come with. Now let's talk about the trigger. Everybody wants to talk about trigger, and so me being a Glock guy, of course I heard all about how 19 and 2011 triggers were, how amazing they were, and I will say that this did not disappoint whatsoever. The trigger is a completely flat trigger. It does have slight curves kind of on the top, but you don't feel them whatsoever. Whenever your finger's on there, you just have the flat wall, which I really like. You see some 19 and 2011s, the trigger's kind of, you know, curved, but this trigger has been amazing. It has almost no movement whenever it comes to the pre-travel and over-travel. There is no over-travel, just a little bit of pre-travel. And then as soon as you hit that very crisp wall, there's brake at about, oh, let me take the safety off, that'll probably help. The brake is probably, I'd say mine is about 3 to 3.5 pounds. Their advertised trigger weight on the website is 4 3/4 pounds. And like I said, it doesn't really feel that much because you have such little movement and such a good crisp wall that it doesn't feel that much. But of course it's adjustable just like any of the other 2011s. They lighten this one up for me because I am going to be using this one for competition use, of course. But your one that comes from them is going to be 4 3/4. And like I said, it feels good. It lets you be able to pull the trigger on this gun, especially at long distances, without moving the gun because there is such little trigger movement. And like I said, I am impressed, especially if it comes to something like Glock or any polymer striker fired pistol. All right, so we got the Mac 9 DS right here. We're gonna talk about shootability real quick. We're gonna shoot some steel, some paper, whatever, and then kind of talk about it afterwards. It didn't lock back, but I am using some kind of light, basically PCC load ammo. So if we have some performance issues or some malfunctions whenever it comes to the slide not going back all the way, you know, if we get failure to feeds or something, it's gonna be compared to that. I wish I had some different ammo for this video. I will be doing like an 1,000 round review based off, you know, factory ammo, but this is reloads for PCC. It's kind of all I had at the point. You guys are not subscribed enough and don't watch my videos enough, so I can't afford some of the best ammo sometimes, you know? So maybe if you subscribe, you help me out with that, buddy. Let's keep shooting this thing, man. Look at that shit, man. Look at that shit, man. That's that Mac 9 DS. This thing feels good. Oh my goodness. Y'all hear that? That was 17 of them that didn't miss. Let's go get another one. I got some more mags back here loaded up. Let's there and got 2 more of them loaded up. After this, we're gonna finish talking about shootability, but I'm gonna let my girlfriend try this out and see what her first impressions are shooting it. So, baby, all you gotta do is take it off safety and it's ready. Whenever it comes to shootability, this thing has been great. The light trigger, of course, like I said, allows me to be accurate and really rip this thing at some very high speeds. I've been able to be accurate at distance and very fast up close whenever I need to be. The overall feel of this thing in your hands, in my opinion, is very well. I do like the feel of it. It feels good, and the recoil impulse is something that's predictable and consistent. So I can really, I'm sure with enough rounds, enough practice to this thing, I could really get very good with this gun, and I'm excited to shoot it and put it into competitions to see how it does. And with how consistent and predictable the recoil impulse is, with this Gideon red dot I have up here that has an SRO size window and footprint, I never lose track of the dot whenever I'm shooting it. I kind of always see that dot there, no matter how much the gun is moving, which is very little anyways. So do you guys remember at the beginning of this video where I said there is a catch? Well, let's go ahead and get to it. This thing does have a polymer grip module, which a lot of 2011 and 1911 people are not going to like. So let's go ahead and jump into it and talk about it. It does make this gun light, coming in at only 30 ounces. Like I said previously in the video, I think that 30 ounces is kind of a perfect weight for being in between that recoil controllability and also transitions. You don't kind of overwhip this thing because it weighs so much. I think there is a perfect balance, but a lot of people don't like polymer in their guns, so that's something to think about if it's you. It's not a problem for me, and I think it feels good, but the biggest pet peeve of this gun with me comes from this polymer grip module, which is going to be the stippling. The stippling on the sides is very sleek and slick, and I feel like it's almost just as bad as if there was no stippling there and it was just smooth. And on the front and the back, where the stippling really matters the most, it does have the same as the, say, CZ Shadow 2, where there's 25 lines per inch going up and sideways. So that texture wise feels good, but if this was steel or aluminum, it would feel even more aggressive because of course, the material. So I haven't got to put this thing really through the rings and you know, shoot it while it's raining or shoot it while it's muddy and see kind of how it performs, or even when it's hot and my hands are getting sweaty. But it, in the hands now, kind of holding it, it doesn't seem like it'll be a problem because, like I said, you have the front and the back, which is decent. But the stuff on the sides is not good. So I feel like that's going to be one of the things to kind of keep in mind, and that people are going to change on their own, whether it be through Talon grips, stippling, silicone carbide, something of that nature. So that's just something to keep in mind, but it also helps lowering the price with, like I said, this thing being, you know, just above $1,000. Getting that polymer instead of that steel frame definitely helps with that while still maintaining some of the quality. So like I said, I've had no issues with this gun so far. So now that we kind of talked about everything in full review over this entire gun, like I said, I've put a few hundred rounds through it already, and I've had no issues whatsoever. I will document any issues that I have going forward with this gun. You know, I'm not going to really trust it until I put probably about 5, 6, 7,000 rounds to this gun before I can really fully trust it. So I'm gonna document everything on the way. If you guys enjoyed the video, let me know down in the comments exactly what you think about this gun and if you're wanting to get one. So thank you guys so much. Do remember to leave a like, comment, subscribe. I love you guys. Bow.